Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Fusion of Honor, where we cover everything that happens in MLW Fusion and Ring of Honor. Now, guys, we had a little bit of a hiatus. We had a little bit of we needed time to recharge. Just as how Court Bauer was talking about how some of the season is ending. There's going to be some fighters that need time to rest and recover, do fight camps, do all those sorts of things. That's basically what Ness and I were doing. We each had respective fight camps. Both happened to be in Florida, but they were mine was one weekend in Tampa for a friend's wedding. He was going down to hang out with friends and everything, and just having a good time, being able to rest, recharge, connecting with people as we, all give a collective middle finger to COVID. We are now finally getting back into the swing of things, and that means we are also going to be getting back into the swing of things here on Fusion of Honor. And I can't, and I had my rest and recovery, but my co-host did as well, and so now we're back at it, and I can't do it without my co-host. You guys know who this is. It's the Roundtable Rebel. It's the three-time baby making champ. This is Ness. Sir, how you doing this evening?
Doing mighty fine. Yes, the rest and recovery was much needed. Feeling recharged. We're back better than ever to bring you guys what you love. MLW Fusion, Ring of Honor. Where else can you get these great reviews of these shows? Nowhere else except for right here on Fusion of Honor, right here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel.
And that's why, we are asking you to hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little bell for notifications if you haven't done that. It allows us to do what we do for you, and we appreciate it. So let's get straight to it, guys. As we know, there's not a lot of stuff to talk about with MLW Fusion because they are on hiatus until the July pay-per-view in Philly. But we do have some news because they are doing a kind of open draft, which doesn't really make sense, but it kind of works for it. It fits the theme of what MLW is, which is kind of trying to give a real sports-ish kind of feel to wrestling. And so with that in mind, the big news is who they have drafted for MLW going forward. So right now we had 2 rounds of the draft that we had 2 weeks ago. One person was added, and last week somebody was added. We'll get this week's person out of the way very quickly. It's a guy named Alex Kane. I don't know too much about him. The video was the video package for him and the interview with Alicia kind of helped out a little bit. Apparently, he has some really wicked suplexes, so we're going to be able to see a lot from him when it comes to having some kind of a physical ground and pound style, it seems. And that's going to work very well when he's going up against a lot of the tough competitors in MLW, especially people like I want to see this guy try to suplex Calvin Tankman. Like that's easily top of the list. Like that's the first thing I thought of when they said, "Oh, he's really good at suplexes, particularly Germans." I was like, all right, let's see what this guy can do. But the larger news, by far, is that we are having a return to wrestling of one half of the American Wolves, Davey Richards. I knew that Davey Richards was making a return to wrestling. He had talked about how he was coming out of retirement. He had retired, I think it was 2017 or maybe 2018. I think it was go to medical school. He was making a transition to doing his medical degree. I don't know if he did end up getting it or not, but either way, we now know that Davey Richards is coming back. I think this is really, really cool. I wasn't thinking he would come back to MLW because obviously, old Buddy Boy's over at Impact. Yeah. But he's. Speaking of which, now we can talk about a cross posting of a married couple because his wife's in Ring of Honor, Angelina Love. So it could have made sense to go to Ring of Honor, but he chose to go to MLW. It makes me wonder if maybe some people are willing to sign with different companies because of this forbidden door that is being opened and people being able to go around to different companies. Maybe that's the situation. And if that's the case, that might be the most important thing that Tony Khan has done, if it happens to be true. But Ness, tell me your thoughts about Alex Kane and Davey Richards coming back and signing with MLW.
Man, it's a major signing for MLW because just like you said, that came out of left field. That's not the promotion that I would expect him to go back to, especially with the Eddie Edwards being in Impact, and then like you said, Angelina Love being in Ring of Honor. You know, those are the two top choices in my opinion that he would have went to. But coming back, he's definitely going to be like, that's probably one of their biggest signings in quite some time. He's a definitely well-known name in around the world when it comes to professional wrestling. So it's nice to see that they actually have somebody that is as big of a star as Davey Richards. And then I just want to see where he, if he still has it, which I there's no doubt in my mind that he does. I just want to see how he matches up against the guys of today, like these fresher talents. Like, oh, I would love to see him against Myron Reed. I would love to see him against Tom Lawler. Like, the list is endless of the potential matchups. So it's definitely going to be some fun and to see, as far as the matches already I expect to be bangers, but just like the storylines and how they work him into the overall atmosphere of MLW.
Yeah, I agree with you completely when it comes to Davey Richards signing. It's a big signing for MLW. I mean, that is a guy who gets vaulted to, main event status, because they don't really have a lot of guys like that who can be main event status. And if Hammerstone isn't the guy to take the title from Fatu, well, then we could see Fatu versus Davey Richards. Or if Hammerstone is, we could see a debuting Davey Richards be that first contender for Hammerstone's championship run. But that's in the future, guys. We don't know what we're going to be dealing with in that when it comes to that. So let's talk about what is happening here in the now. Let's talk about, well, Davey Richards' wife's company. Let's talk about Ring of Honor. So we're covering 2 episodes of Ring of Honor tonight, episodes 503 and 504. We got a kind of a weird concept in starting us off on this first one. It's a battle royale where the final 2 people will have a match at a later date, and the winner will be able to jump into the rankings for either the pure division or the TV title division. This is just kind of a weird. They could have just said it's a number 1 contenders thing, and whoever wins can pick TV or pure, and just gone that route. But I mean, you're getting 2 matches for the price of 1, basically. But it's kind of like I worry if it's whether it's going to be similar to Flip Gordon walking around with this world title shot in his back pocket for however many months that he's just got this. So they can be like, oh, these 2 guys are going to have this match at some later date. Meanwhile, other people are in the rankings and going after the title. But let's talk about who these 2 guys are who are going to have this match down the road. Our participants are Danhausen, Dante Caballero, Eric Martin, Ken Dixon, Mark Briscoe, O'Shea Edwards, PCO, Ryan Mooney, Sledge, world famous CB, and our winners, Joe Keys and LSG. So this match was a little bit of everything, shall we say? That's the easiest way to put it. It had a PCO malfunction, as all PCO matches are wont to have. It had Mike Bennett trying to get to the ring, but then getting ran down by Bateman and getting attacked and getting removed basically from the match. We had Danhausen getting eliminated, and then out of nowhere, we see Generico-Hausen make his debut for Ring of Honor when he finds an old El Generico mask that he brings to the ring with him and puts it on. So that's an interesting strategy of saying, I don't know if I'm gonna need this El Generico mask, but I might as well bring it with me. That's one of the it's the hey, who put those kendo sticks under the ring? It's that. But it was kind of funnily done, because he gets back into the ring and then immediately gets eliminated again right afterwards. But I don't know, for what I think it was supposed to be. Sure, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Did you have any specific thoughts about this one, Ness?
Uh, it was just funny. Like I didn't take it as, even though the end game is something very serious, as far as getting the two winners becoming, they're gonna get their match, and then whoever wins, they get the, I guess, skip the line or jump in the line within whatever division, as far as the championships with a division. The match itself was just goofy. There was one point, or a few points, like you mentioned, that's literally why I had the El Generico shirt on, because of Danhausen doing that. Another point was the Mike Bennett. He was supposed to be in the match, never made it to the ring. He was attacked by Bateman and Dutch, and they were trying to drag his lifeless body out, which luckily security was there, because who knows what those freaks would have did to him. But there was one point in the match where Eric Martin, Joe Keys, and Dante Caballero, they eliminated Ken Dixon. So I really appreciated that, because it was some sort of continuity. Because, as folks remember, Ken Dixon turned his back on the fellow dojo guys to align himself with Beer City Bruiser at the time. And I like the fact that they continued that. It was those three that eliminated him. Now, I'm not 100% sure on this, which, once again, this is more so of a theory that I'd like to see, that he comes under the wing of Beer City Bruiser and Brian Malonis. So it's that trio versus the other trio. Like, I would love for them to pick up on that continuity as well. But overall, it was just funny. And like you said, the PCO malfunction, and they're like, "Oh, he eliminated himself, but he went through the second rope and not over it." So, but overall, it was a fun match to watch. And with LSG and Joe Keys come out on top, I'm looking forward to that match. Joe Keys, got my eye on him, and LSG, I've really been enjoying his coming up in the rankings in Ring of Honor recently. So I think they're going to have a great match.
Yeah, he's had some really great matches recently. That Eli Isom match, that was really, really good. So I don't know. I think either one of them is a good winner, and then they can be a good person to face. Because I mean, Joe Keys, I think is a face, and I think LSG is a little bit more of a tweener, kind of heelish kind of guy. So either way, they have people that they can play off of when it comes to the TV title or the pure title. But speaking of titles, we got to talk about how Ring of Honor gave us 3 matches and actually played it straight by giving us 3 matches.
Yeah,
And our second match of the night was amazing. I loved this match. This is Shane Taylor Promotions putting the 6-man titles up against Primal Fear. Now, Primal Fear is a team that I didn't know a lot about them, and they got this title shot by virtue of winning a match on ROH Week by Week on YouTube. And they are coming into this match. They said, "Don't call us, don't call us the fighting the dog. No, don't worry about that. We're starving dogs, and we are here to take. We're not happy with just being given things anymore." And Shane Taylor Promotions is just like, "Well, you can take it, but
Yeah.
it's gonna cost you." And this was a really well thought out match. This is because what I liked about it was they start off with Khan and Moses, then it transitions to Shane Taylor being the one in the ring for the majority of the time, setting up Khan and Moses for basically the hot tag.
Yeah.
They actually are the ones who save him, and he's supposed to be the big heavy of the group and the main event star of that group. So they gave Khan and Moses a lot of time to shine and a lot of ways to shine. And this doesn't work without Primal Fear, who did a very, very good job. They did have some kind of communication issues, like a little bit of stuff. But what I liked about it was commentary covered for them very well by saying, you got to know who the legal man is. You can't give Shane Taylor Promotions any breathing room. But I mean, that was I think my two favorite spots had to be when dude Dude smacks Shane Taylor. And then Shane Taylor looks. Wait, hold on. The setup for this actually is Shane Taylor gets the guy into the corner. Todd Sinclair is like, let him out of the corner, and Shane's like, all right, fine. He backs up a couple steps. This dude decides it's a smart idea to smack Shane Taylor. Shane Taylor looks over at the ref like, this is now your fault, and then Cole clocks the guy. He punched him from Baltimore, just like out, like like that was a Baltimore Orioles grand slam home run out of the park. He just cold clocked that dude like as hard as he could. It was beautiful, and I don't know whether that's my favorite spot or the spot when he's got him on his shoulders and he goes over. He goes, "Yo, Caprice, Riccaboni, pray for this guy," and he just dumps him over the barricade. And Caprice, without missing a spot, just a second, just goes, "Oh Lord, help him!" This was a really great match, and again, like I said, really well thought out. But Ness, what did you think about this one?
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed this match, man. It's for the main point that you brought up. It was mainly Moses and Khan's showing. You know, they anchored this match. Shane Taylor, outside of that like you said, the Grand Slam, because just like Caprice Coleman, I said, "Oh my God," he cold clocked that guy. Like, and you know, no disrespect to Primal Fear, because I can't remember any of their names individually, but they put on a great showing. They really took it to Shane Taylor Promotions, but it's checkers, not chess. There's levels to this. And Shane Taylor definitely said that in this match. There's levels. It's levels, and it showed in this match that Primal Fear are good, but they're not as great as Shane Taylor's Promotions. And again, that's no slight to them. It's just the more experience that Shane Taylor's Promotions and Shane Taylor, Moses and Khan, that they just have it and just have it together a little bit more than Primal Fear. But it was a lot of back and forth action. It was. I mainly like it for the fact that they in Primal Fear made it seem like it was a evenly matched contest, especially with the selling from Shane Taylor Promotions. Shane Taylor specifically, because after a while, as big and badass as Shane Taylor is, he was fighting from underneath a little bit in this match, and like you have to do some damage to Shane Taylor or anyone of his size to make that look believable, and he sold it very well. So, but eventually, just like I want to say, I think it was the 19th anniversary, they played up on that on commentary as well, where it was Moses and Khan that won that match. Shane Taylor was in there working, and then after he was getting worked himself, same thing happened in this match. He's getting worked, and it was Moses and Khan that anchored this match, and they put I forgot the name of their finisher, but they used their double team finishing move and they picked up the win. So I love the fact that it's not only all on Shane Taylor, despite the group being named Shane Taylor Promotions. It's the promotion factor of the group, the faction, that's really putting in the work as well. So I like the fact that they're giving these guys their chance to shine, and I'm here to see Primal Fear in the future. For more 6-man matches, for singles matches, tag matches. Like I don't know, I like what I saw from these guys. They weren't no slouches, so it was a very good match, very great match.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, and I like what going back to what you said about the 19th anniversary show match. What they are doing is, to me, and I like this, if this is really what they are trying to do, is they are building up Khan and Moses by making us interested in them because we want to watch Shane Taylor.
Yeah.
We want to see Shane Taylor, and they're showing us, hey, this is what Khan and Moses can do. So they're properly using each to support the other, and so that when they do drop those 6-man titles, it makes absolute sense if Khan and Moses jump right into the tag team picture and are worthy contenders. Shane Taylor can go after the TV title. He can go after the world title if he wants. And they would still have a viable tag team in Khan and Moses. So that's really, really well done on their part, if that is what they're doing, because if it is, it's working very well.
Very
But
well.
But guys, we said we had 3 matches to talk about. Let's talk about this main event. This is if we're talking about a tag team that working with cohesion, that's working with a single focus. We can also have a tag team that gets so dysfunctional that they turn on each other and that they have to have a match against each other to determine what exactly is going to happen when they see who was the better man. And we are talking about 2 guys, 1 tag. We are talking about Silas Young and Josh Woods. This was a match that has kind of been brewing for a little bit since the anniversary show, since the turn from Silas Young on Josh Woods. And I liked it. I like this one. This one was good. It had that level of physicality that you expect from Silas Young. It had that technical aspect, technical beast that Josh Woods calls himself and came out as. This was a good match, and what I liked especially about it was that Silas Young did not beat Josh Woods by overpowering him. Yeah. He beat him in essence through technical wrestling. And on a technicality. He beat him by Josh Woods putting him into a submission hold. Silas Young using his weight and against Woods and Woods' own weight against him, and when they rolls to pin him, putting his feet up on the ropes. That is showing that Silas Young is a thinking man's wrestler, and more importantly, goes back to the storyline that Silas Young says, I didn't teach you everything that I know, and you still need to learn. You should have been paying attention to me. Yeah. And Josh Woods, he's left holding the bag. He's left in the wind. He's like, oh man, what's going on here? So I thought this was a well done match, and it sets up a lot because Silas Young can say he won, Josh Woods can say he cheated, and we can get the rematch down the road. So Ness, what'd you think about this one?
This was another great match. Even before the match itself started, just the emotion and like the facial expressions coming out of Josh when they were doing the pre-match like video packages and whatnot, and Silas Young's gonna talk his shit, and that's exactly what he did. But it just seemed like it was too much to kind of bear for Josh. Like he really didn't have any words, but you can definitely feel the whatever emotions were elicited from him, like the anger, him just being upset. Just it was a lot of things surrounding that. They were a tag, and a tag team, and Silas was like somewhat of a mentor to him, and maybe even a brother, friend of that nature. And then that is thrown out the window. He didn't have any words. He just sat there for a little while and got up and left. I'm like, I can understand that. We're human. We've all been in situations where it's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to handle myself here. It's like, I really can't deal with it until, it's time to either put up or shut up. Well, when it came time to put up or shut up, Josh handled his own. Of course, Silas was, for the most part, dominating of the match, just wanted to just brawl it out. But then when it came down to the technical aspect of the match, Silas couldn't hang with him there. But then, once again, it came down to Silas, instead of out wrestling or out powering Josh Woods, he outsmarted him. Because when he put his foot on the ropes, I thought the ref was just going to break up the submission, but the ref didn't see it. So the leverage of his foot being on the ropes, and now it's in a pinning combination. He picks up the win, and then it goes back to the emotion coming out of Josh. He's just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. He had his he's trying to say what happened, but obviously the ref's not going to overturn that decision. It's final. So they can go who knows? They can have another match where Silas is like, no, I beat you already. Like I have nothing else to prove. But I have a feeling that Josh can get under his skin and say some things that'll make him want to do it. Or who knows? Silas might just want to say, hey, I already beat you once, I can do it again. And then Josh can come out victorious. Like you said, we can go so many ways with this, but I just want to see, this is pretty much a redemption arc redemption story for Josh Woods, the technical beast. And once he gets over this hump in Silas Young, I think he's really going to take off at this point in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I think that this is a nice way to keep building up Josh Woods while Jonathan Gresham continues to build up that pure title, so that when Josh Woods gets it down the road, it means something again to see pure champion.
Out of anybody on the roster, if Jonathan Gresham was to drop it to anyone, in my personal opinion, I think it should be Josh Woods just right off the bat, because he definitely got me interested in his work during the pure title tournament, and then just everything after the fact. He's shown that at this point, if anyone else in the pure title division can hold the title and, add as much prestige or even a little bit as much prestige as Jonathan Gresham, I believe it is Josh Woods.
Yeah, and that goes to show how well Ring of Honor treats its titles. They're not just props. They do mean something in Ring of Honor, which is always important. And that's why knowing how Ring of Honor is structuring their women's tournament is actually pretty darn important too. And that's where we turn towards our 2 Women of Honor and matches and our 2 Women of Wednesday shows that we had. We had some interesting news that happened with these matches. So let's talk about the matches first. We had Max the Impaler taking on Hyun. This was something about this felt off to me. Like, it just felt as though it was just like too much of Max the Impaler's, I guess, like character, or like that overpowering sense.
Yeah,
Hyun just didn't feel credible as somebody trying to fight back against this person, which, I mean, I guess we don't know that much about either of them. So, when you do have a strong character like Max has, it's going to come across more than Hyun. And commentary did try to help her out by talking about her time in Stardom. But this match, just something about it felt off to me. I don't know. What were your thoughts on this one?
I mean, it was all right. I kind of got what they were trying to go for. Speaking of continuity, once again, because of the tag match when they first, revamped Women of Honor, where it was Roxy and Max the Impaler versus Laney Luck and Hyun. There was a point in the match where Hyun's like, "Oh, I'm not afraid of you. You don't scare me." So then, fast forward to this match, that was, in my opinion, that was the idea they were trying to go for, but she did come off kind of intimidated. So it's like, Max the Impaler just tried to up the intimidation a little bit more. And, she's definitely a bigger, more powerful individual than Hyun. So that definitely showed in this match. Hyun had the technical ability in the match, but it really wasn't a match for Max the Impaler's power, and then that pretty much just showed throughout the majority of the match. It definitely was a little bit more character work than ring work, but I think that might work in her favor, because at this point she's kind of like the only character, so to speak, in the women's division at this point. Like, we just have a lot of good or great women's wrestlers, but I'm not really really connected with quote unquote characters. Like, if you can wrestle and you're good, then I'm already, I'm a fan. Like, I really don't need for you to have a larger than life character. But at this point, I believe that Max is like spearheading or the front runner far as characters. So that definitely works in her favor. But I just want to see where they go from here. Will they be in the ticket to gold tournament, or the ROH Women of Honor title tournament? Because they didn't. I think this might have been the only match where they didn't really give it to one of the participants right after. But who knows? We'll see. Who knows down the line? They possibly, more than likely, I believe they will. Especially Max, just because of the whole character thing.
Max, I think, definitely is going to be somebody who gets that ticket to gold. But we need to talk about who did get that ticket to gold, and that is a phenomenal, to your point about phenomenal wrestlers, a phenomenal wrestler, a former Impact Women's Champion, a former NWA Women's Champion, none other than Allison Kay, formerly known at some points as Sienna when she was in Impact. This is a huge signing for Ring of Honor for their women's division. This is, I mean, and that's the thing. I don't know if she's 100% signed or if it's just for the tournament, but either way, it is huge that they're having Allison Kay be able to work for them during this tournament. If it goes beyond that, who knows? But either way, this is somebody who adds instant credibility to this tournament. And you think you got Allison Kay on in this tournament, you got Angelina Love in this tournament. That is it's adding more credibility to who is going to be facing off for this title, and it's going to give a lot of these women some of the best exposure and matches that they've had. Does this shift how you feel about the tournament, the signing about or the participation of Allison Kay?
Yeah, it does, because like you said, the credibility just went up like 10 notches. A former NWA Women's Champion, a former two-time Knockouts champion. Like, she has had top titles in multiple promotions. You know, Impact and NWA are just two of the promotions that she's been a champion, and you know, those are just two of the most recognizable. And the list doesn't stop there. So, and again, in-ring work, amazing. Character work, amazing. So she checks off all the marks in every box. This is a huge, huge opportunity, not only just for her, just for whoever else is in the tournament to work with her, gain that experience, get that exposure. I believe this was a great idea. I don't know whose idea it was. I guess I can give it to Maria.
Yeah, we
give it to Maria Kanellis Bennett. But yeah, whoever pulled the trigger on this, kudos. You did a fine job.
Yeah, and that takes us to our the last week's women. We're both doing it. I keep Women of Honor, but it's Women of like on Wednesday. Women of Honor Wednesdays, where we have Maserati taking on Angelina Love. And this is part of why I felt I wanted to ask you about Angelina Love versus Allison Kay, because I don't think it's a coincidence that right after they announced that Allison Kay is signed, the very next week it's an Angelina Love match. Yeah. So they're already telling us these two can potentially butt heads during this tournament, and you guys got to be paying attention. And we're paying attention during this match because Angelina Love is doing some pretty good heel work with Mandy Leon and the Allure. Maserati tries as best as she can, but she is unable to overcome Angelina Love and the cheating ways of these two heels. She's put down in just over 11 minutes. I thought this match was all right for what it was supposed to do, which to me was to just be like, hey, let's shine a light on the fact that we have Allison Kay and we have Angelina Love. What'd you think about this one?
Yeah, the match is okay. I'm giving Maserati a chance, not even gonna lie. Like, even from her video package or her the vignette, it didn't like knock me out the park. I don't know. It's the way that she projects while she's, trying to get her point across or whatever the case may be. I was just like expecting a better delivery, but that's just something she could always work on. But when it came to the match was okay. I think she works well. She worked well up until the point where Angelina Love got help from Mandy, and then the whole atmosphere of the match just shifted. So and then it played in her part, which again, that goes back to even Maria on commentary is like, oh yeah, I'm out here, I'm watching everything. Well, I'll leave her alone for that comment, but that's good to know. It's, it's about time that you start acknowledging stuff that goes on. But that's neither here nor there. But I like the fact that Maserati did come up. She tried her best, and I can't fault her for that. She tried her best, and she had a good showing, especially with it being a 2-on-1 atmosphere for the match with Mandy on the outside, and then having to deal with the experience of a 20-year vet and Angelina Love in the ring, you know. So, and like I said, if it wasn't for Mandy, that match, you know, the atmosphere of the match wouldn't have shifted. It looked like Maserati was holding her own up against this 20-year vet.
Well, afterwards, we find out that she is being given the next ticket to gold to be part of the tournament. It felt a little weird because she just lost. So I don't know that part, especially because Maria had been talking about how some of these women are coming in basically for tryout matches. It's, you know, to see whether or not you're going to be able to be in this ticket to gold tournament. So it feels a little weird that you're rewarding somebody who lost a match, but maybe it's because you felt as though she lost the match not through her own fault. I mean, to your point, she was winning until Mandy Leon got involved, and maybe that's they're setting up for maybe a first round or second round rematch of sorts between these two women during the tournament. But when we talk about how this tournament's going to work, it's all about rankings. It's all about seeding. It's all about trying to figure out where you're going to be and figure out your spot. And that's where we turn to last week's episode of Ring of Honor, because it starts off with a really good match. It starts off with Fred Yehi taking on the king of sneaky style, Rocky Romero. This is, I said this on Dark Power, because while he was on Ring of Honor, he on Monday, he was also on Dark Elevation on Monday at the same time. Okay, and then he's also on BTE, where he's putting back together Roppongi Vice with Trent. And then Tony Khan is bringing up the fact that he put Roppongi Vice back together while he's making fun of Nick Khan and saying there can only be one Khan in wrestling. So Rocky Romero really is the glue that holds professional wrestling together. It's really incredible. But if there's somebody who's going to try to test the strength of that glue, it is Fred Yehi. And I did not realize until, for whatever reason, but maybe it's just me, but his theme song reminds me of the Yo Gotti's "Rake It Up." I don't know why. Yeah. Like I think it's just the beat and the synth bounce, but he's raking it up here for sure, because this was a solid Pure Rules match. The winner of this match is going to take on world famous CB for reasons we don't know and don't understand. But it's going to be some kind of a way to get into the rankings or figure something out with the rankings. Fred Yehi doesn't care. All he knows is that he's got to get through Rocky Romero, and it takes him just about the full 15 minutes. Yeah. It goes 14:44, but he does it. He taps out Rocky Romero, picks up the win. I thought this was a really well done match. Rocky is living up to that sneaky style way of being able to get out of holds, but Fred Yehi is just like, oh, you got out of that one, I got another, it's fine. Like let's see if you know a counter to this. And I thought it was a really good counter punch. I mean, but in technical wrestling style of the match. Ness, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is a great opener. I did not expect Fred Yehi to get this win, but it was very, very, very much needed. Especially the fact that it was on Rocky Romero. You know, they talked about how many years he's been in, like, again, another 20-year vet, like a 20+ year vet at this point, and everything that he's done. You know, he had the Black Tiger mask. They talked about the history with Black Tiger, and, you know, everything that he's done from Ring of Honor to New Japan, the help he's done in grooming so many wrestlers. One in particular, probably one of the greatest of all time, definitely the greatest of our generation, and Kazuchika Okada. You know,
that's his best friend.
Yeah, his best friend. You know, so like that's major. So for someone as like Fred Yehi to get a decisive win over Rocky Romero, excuse me, got a little tongue tied. That's a huge feather in the cap of Fred Yehi. And not even that he just got a decisive win, he tapped him out. Like picking up a pinfall is one thing, but to make someone tap out, say that, oh, this is too much for me. I can't take it anymore. I can't handle this. I've had enough. I think that's a little bit more devastating than just picking up a pinfall. So, I want to see where they go with this as far as Freddie. Yeah, I hope this is not just a win and then, he goes off into obscurity. Like, this win has to mean something. The fact that they built it up on commentary, talked about everything that Rocky does, and just they have to do something with him with this after this win. One thing that I did like, they both had not an eye patch. He had one lens missing out of his glasses, and then Rocky had the eye patch on, which is, it was funny. But at the end of the day, congratulations to Freddie A. High. But again, they have to do something and make this win mean something. Don't just give him the win and then, we see him in another qualifying match for a pure title or pure division ranking match weeks from now. Like, there needs to be something behind this.
Yeah, I agree there completely. The same way that they are coming up with good contenders and good stories for some of the other titles, they definitely need to make sure they do that with the pure title, because I don't think we've seen a title defense really. Since it was the 500th episode that was with Gresham and Lethal, but that wasn't a story. It was more just a match. There was no real heat between the two of them. It was just we're two brothers. Let's face off against each other, and we see we see a story that's working out very, very well. Slowly over time, hints and pieces being given to us, little bits here and there to whet the appetite with the OGK and the Righteous, because here we know that the OGK have a tag title shot against the Foundation members of Rhett Titus and Tracy Williams, but we find out that somebody has attacked Matt Taven and has injured his leg, his foot. That's the other thing that's kind of interesting about this. All of the damn injuries in this storyline happen to people's feet, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I mean, there is that connection because of what happened when with Vincent attacking Taven back in the day, but still, it's just like. I don't know why they keep attacking the feet. Like somebody has a foot fetish. Something's going on. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. No. How are these people supposed to walk? Why isn't Maria picking up on this? What's going on?
I don't think she cares.
Either way, Matt Taven is injured, and it looks as though the match isn't going to happen. We have we have a promo from Rhett Titus and Tracy Williams. And then Jay Lethal comes into the frame and tells them that, Taven is injured, but he refuses to give up the title shot, and he wants to have the match no matter what. So that's bold, that's brave of Taven. It's the face thing to do. So that is a good a good thing, and it continues that storyline because they need to figure out who it was, probably Dutch, who attacked Matt Taven and injured his foot. And sandwiched in between that, Fred Yehi, Rocky Romero, and our main event is a moment where Flip Gordon comes out, and they're talking about that world title shot he's got in his back pocket, and he's asked for some time. They're wondering what it's going to be about, and he is calling out Roosh. He is calling out our world champion. Now, it's a little dumb on his part because apparently he doesn't watch the product. Roosh was suspended, so Roosh isn't there. But he gets angry at Roosh for not being there, and he's like, "You're hiding." He's not hiding. He's suspended. It's a little bit of a different thing. Like, he can't control that. I mean, I guess he could have not gotten pissed off and done what he did, but he can't control that he got suspended. So either way, he's getting, Flip is, getting all angry, losing his mind, and somebody comes out to help him. Help poor Flip. And who is it? It's EC3. EC3 comes out, and I liked it. Basically, he says, control your narrative, man, and don't mess with mine. while you're trying to control it, because I know what you did. I know you cheated when we had that tag match, and I'm not thrilled about it. I'm not thrilled about it at all. And he just basically says, "You have been warned," and it's really good. I like it. It felt like it went a little too long, but it was good for what it needs to get done, and I think it's a nice. If these two have a feud, it's really good because Flip is somebody who can and should be facing off against Roosh. One, to just get rid of that dumb world title shot that he has in his back pocket, and two, that would be a good TV main event match.
Yeah.
And having EC3 feud with Flip keeps EC3 in the mix when it comes to, man, I really want to see EC3 face Roosh. So, and on top of this, they can actually face off over that damn world title shot that Flip Gordon has had for like a year now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this seems to me like a pretty good story that they can build upon. What did you think about this segment, and what do you think about maybe having an EC3 Flip Gordon feud?
Well, I believe we touched on this a few episodes ago. We kind of figured it was going to happen with the way that the tag match with EC3 and Flip Gordon versus the Briscoes, the way that ended. We got a feeling that, EC3 wasn't going to stand for that because it wasn't the honorable thing to do. Flip Gordon doesn't care. You pay him. He's just out here trying to get wins and trying to get money. He doesn't care at whose expense. But now he's in a position where someone that does care about the way that you do things, he's not going to sit down and take that lightly, So I like the fact that, and I agree, it kind of went a little bit too long, but I like the fact that he just like paces around him and says, "You've been warned," and then he leaves, short, sweet, to the point, and got the fuck up out of there. So now I'm just waiting for the match, or to see how EC3 handles things, because he gave him the warning and now he's just like waiting for the time to strike. And it's just all about the timing of that time to strike. So just wanting to see where it is.
Yeah, I mean, we could see a situation where Flip cheats again in a match. Doesn't even have to involve EC3, but he cheats in a match, and then EC3 says, "I warned you. I warned you. I told you to take the straight and narrow. You didn't. This is now we got to do something about this."
Yeah.
But that leaves us, guys, to our main event of the night. And it's a doozy. It really was. This is the OGK versus the Foundation, Rhett Titus, Tracy Williams. Our World Tag Team Championships are on the line, and the OGK are trying to pull out every single stop that they can to try to win this match and do everything they can to cover for the fact that Taven is injured, really injured in this match. And it's a really good sell job, because at some points I felt bad for Mike Bennett, because in that, like, when a match is and it made me think, like, when a match is happening and you either have a partner or an opponent who is selling an injury, and then they start selling they are actually selling the injury. The number one rule of wrestling is protect your opponent.
Yeah.
You have to sit there for a moment and think, is he actually hurt? Like, you have to think of I'm watching this and I was like, man, Mike Bennett, like, he had to think about that for a second. Like, should I be doing this tag team move? Because it looks as like Taven is doing a damn good job selling this foot injury. So kudos to Taven for selling the foot injury, and kudos for the Foundation for doing a good job of saying, are we going to capitalize on the foot injury or not? Because the Foundation are always about doing things the honorable way, doing things the right way, but they are also about winning. Yep. So you have these two issues pushing against each other, and it takes some time for Rhett and for Tracy Williams to say, you know what? Nobody told him to take this match. Like, we gave him the opportunity to not take this match. He's standing here again. It's not our fault. Like, that's not on us for doing what we're supposed to do. And the match devolves into a really solid match between these two teams where there's a good storyline. And what I liked about it was that this is a championship match that doesn't have any heat. There's no real feud between them. So what do? They found a way to put a storyline into the match that felt absolutely natural. And we always talk about it, keeps plate spinning. Because it keeps the plate spinning of which member of Righteous attacked it. Even if it was a member of Righteous, will they think it was a member of Righteous? And on the Foundation side, are you always going to be the perfect hero? Are you always going to do things the upright, honorable way? It's the classic Lex Luthor trying to make Superman into a villain. If God is all powerful, then he can't be all good, and if he's all good, he can't be all powerful. What are going to happen with the Foundation when they are faced with these tests? We kind of saw that here. I want to see how that really, I was like, oh, this is good. This is really good stuff. And this just, especially now after Double or Nothing weekend, it really makes me pray and hope that Ring of Honor gets back to live crowds, because this would have been almost any of the matches that we've talked about tonight would have been phenomenal in front of a live crowd. But Ness, what were your thoughts on this main event where the Foundation retains?
Yeah, this match, oh man, a live crowd would have ate this shit up, honestly. Like, because it was just that good. The fact that even though Taven was selling the leg or his ankle, he still worked in the match. You know, it was good for, you know, the time that he did get to have some offense in the match. But on the other hand, you had Mike Bennett, the one that was pretty much carrying the load for his team, and he looked good doing it, you know. And then the Foundation, Tracy Williams, and I have to emphasis on the and Red Titus. They are a well-oiled machine. I know when people think of the Foundation, you think of Jonathan Gresham, you think of Jay Lethal, but this tag team in Tracy Williams and Red Titus, I think, I'm not going to say they're a better tag team. Actually, I'm going to say that. I think they're a better tag team, far as Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham are two great individuals that work together. So these guys are more so of an actual team, and those two, in my opinion, are like singles guys that can work together. Red Titus just being a tag team specialist. I forgot his name. Caprice Coleman spoke up on it on commentary, where it's like, yo, you don't have to worry about Red Titus if you're tagging with him, because he's going to get in his spot. He's going to let you know where he's at. He'll let you know what to do. He'll know where, like, he knows what to do in the ring as far as tag teaming. And it showed it in this match. There was the one point where he was knocked down, but he made sure that he fell in between Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, so they couldn't get to tag each other. You know, that's just smart thinking as far as, you know, tagging. And then, you know, he always made sure Tracy knew where he was at and got to Tracy when he needed to, and got out of the ring when he needed to, or got in the ring when he needed to. And then a couple of the spots where they had the double teaming, or I'm sorry, not double team, the Siamese, or I'm sorry, the tandem pile drivers between Bennett and Williams, and then also the tandem submissions by Bennett and Williams. Like, I thought those were some great spots. Also, once again, the selling of the injured ankle by Matt Taven, which it honestly, like, it made good for a great story, but as the match progressed, like, he fought through it. You know, he fought through it as much as he can, and, you know, it kind of, like, it sucks because we were all expecting just a regular match, you know, which it would have been great for if he wasn't injured. But I think that the injury added that little bit more of mystique and made that, like, oh, this is really good. Like, these guys are working them. And speaking of which, they didn't, as far as the Foundation, they didn't target the ankle whatsoever. Tracy Williams did at one point, literally did it one point throughout the match, and it was out of desperation because he could have possibly lost. So, you know, he had to counter out and then put Matt Taven in, then be like an ankle lock or a grapevine of the leg, solely so they don't lose the match. if the shoe was on the other foot, just like Caprice Coleman said, I have a feeling that the OGK would have targeted the ankle as soon as the match started, So like it still goes up, still bigs up that the OGK looks strong. They went out there, they did their thing despite the ankle injury. The foundation went out there, did their thing, are honorable in this after all of this, because again they wanted to give these guys a pass, like, hey, let's do it again when you guys are at 100%. No, we want to do it now. All right, well, if that's what you want, okay, here we go. Let's have this match. We're gonna have purity in this match, even though it's not a pure tag title match. So, and then again, not targeting the ankle until he literally had, there was a one last resort type of thing. But far as who injured Matt Taven, I honestly, prior to the end of the match, I thought it was Beer City Bruiser, because it looked like, well, Beer City and Brian Malonis, because it looked like, it was shattered glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, figured it was a beer bottle. But then, at the end of the match, we find out who the true culprit is, so to speak.
Yeah. So this is I just want to know, like, how they're gonna keep this going. How they're gonna because we've had so many OGK righteous matches.
Yeah.
We this has been going on for a long time. Like, how do you top it? How do you? I mean, okay, all right, that 19th anniversary show match, that's easy to top. But like that one's easy to top. But like, how are they gonna keep building this out? How are they gonna keep going with this? So what are your thoughts? What do you think? If you're booking this, where do you go with it?
The OGK needs some help, because from the week prior, Bennett getting attacked by Dutch and Bateman. This week, or the following week, Taven being taken out. It's like, yeah, what can you do? Again, I thought it was Beer City and Brian Malonis. Those are two guys that have legitimate gripes with the OGK. So it's like, on your left side, you got Beer City Bruiser and Brian Malonis. On your right side, you got the Righteous. It's like, what can you guys do? It's just the two of you at this point. You need some help. You need someone, or anyone at this point, that can back you guys up, because now Matt Taven has a bad wheel. Mike Bennett, he's coming back off of, once again, being injured, taken out by the Righteous, and now they're just like targeting him. So it's like, man, what can you guys do at this point when it's just the two of you versus all these other people, and like pretty much like 5 other guys, and at this point, they're not so much teaming up against them, but down the line, there isn't anything that doesn't say that Beer City Bruiser and Brian Malonis can't work together with the Righteous, because like we all have been made aware that Vincent, Bennett, Matt Taven, and Beer City Bruiser and Brian Malonis, they all work together or came up together in the business in their time in I believe the New England area. So that's just another story in itself. But yeah, man, OGK, y'all need some help, man. I don't know who it can be.
Where's TK O'Ryan when they need him?
Yeah,
where's TK O'Ryan when they need him?
Stranger things have happened. We might be speaking that into existence, but we'll see, man. Like, again, they definitely needed they need it bad. They need some help bad.
Yeah, they do, and I want to see how they put this together. It's for them. That's going to be something to pay attention to and keep in mind. I think we gotta be looking to Best in the World pay-per-view. Then that comes around, we might see something. But that is then. This is now. And guys, we want to thank you for staying with us on this. It's a little bit of a long journey. We know we have to catch up with 2 episodes, but we appreciate you guys sticking with us.
Follow me on Instagram and Twitter.
Oh man,
one name, skinny__Kravitz for both. I don't know what the hell is. I don't know what took me so long to do this, but I did. So yeah, you guys can follow me both Instagram and Twitter at the same surname. Skinny__Kravitz. Catch me right here on the True Heat YouTube channel. One half of Fusion of Honor, my man is StatKing, man of 1,004 numbers. You can also catch me on Blunt Impact and Joints of Jabronis with Chris G. You can also catch me on NX3 with, once again, Chris G and Romeo Anthony Colon. And I'm the Roundtable Rebels. Catch me on the Roundtables. And as always, you can hear my illustrious voice on True Toxicity.
And guys, you can catch me on Dark Power covering AEW Dark, Dark Elevation, and NWA Power. Tomorrow will be, I think, my last time on Dark Side of the Ring, the Dark Side of the Ring reviews, unfortunately, but I've been enjoying that. And you can always catch me in all of our different Facebook groups, particularly the True Heel Heat group. And guys, just remember, if you're gonna have bad opinions, just make sure you can defend them, because I don't want to tell somebody that they have the collective IQ of a potato, but I will if you say dumb shit. Like, that's just if you're gonna call AEW awful extinct wrestling, which first off doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna call it that, and then get mad when I point out the flaws of WWE, which is this promotion that you say you're super loyal to because you've been watching wrestling for all these years, well, then you shouldn't be making fun of the other promotion. I don't care if it was AEW, ROH, Impact, whoever. I'll defend any of them if that's at least make the insult good. Like, that's the bare minimum that I'm asking you guys for. But yeah, you can catch me.
Yeah. And honestly, guys, if one of us catch it, we all catch it. So you really don't, yeah. And it's a lot of the True Heel Heat, not just the YouTube channel team. We got it's a lot of us. So just don't say dumb shit, please.
All we ask is that all of your opinions be proper. Like, just not you don't have to agree with us, but just be able to articulate what you're trying to say properly. Right. That's the real thing. And guys, as always, you can leave any comments in that you want in the comments, whether you agree with us, disagree with us. We love to have the comments. We love to hear back from you guys. So until next time, for myself, for the three-time baby making champ, we are signing off. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll catch you later. Peace.